Okay, picture this. You're in a tavern, right? Dimly lit, you can practically smell the ale and anticipation in the air.
Oh, I love it already.
A half-orc barbarian, big hulking guy is squaring off against some noblemen.
Ooh, classic standoff.
Muscles tensed, you can practically feel a brawl about to erupt.
Yeah.
But then, instead of drawing steel, the nobleman does something completely unexpected.
I guess he challenges him to a game of wits.
Close. He tells a story, a tale so captivating that it completely changes the situation.
Wow, that's the power of storytelling right there.
Exactly, and that's exactly what we're diving into today.
Awesome.
How to balance combat and roleplay in D&D.
To create those truly unforgettable sessions, love it.
You know it, we're getting our insights from how to balance combat and roleplay in D&D, engaging both storytellers and gamers on LitRPG Reads.
Oh yeah, I saw that came out today.
Yeah, published just today, October 24th, 2024.
It's a great piece.
And it's packed with tips and strategies for both players and dungeon masters, so let's get into it.
Let's do it.
So one of the things that really stood out to me is that D&D combat is so much more than just rolling dice and slaying monsters.
100%.
It can be this catalyst for storytelling, a way to reveal a character's depths, and even like a team-building exercise.
All of that, yeah.
The article gives this really awesome example. So picture a boss fight. It culminates not just in victory,
Right.
but in a shocking plot twist that throws the entire campaign in a new direction.
Oh, I love that.
So suddenly that combat encounter becomes this pivotal moment in the narrative.
Yeah, a story beat that will have players talking for weeks.
Exactly.
Love it.
And combat can be a powerful tool for revealing character, too.
Totally.
Like, think about it, how a character reacts under pressure. The choices they make in the heat of battle, those split-second decisions can tell you more about them than hours of dialogue.
Way more.
So much more.
Yeah.
And, you know, the article also debunks this whole idea that role-playing is all about putting on funny voices and accents.
Oh, thank goodness for that.
Right.
It's so much more than that.
It's about making choices that are true to your character's personality, their beliefs, their motivations.
Yeah, it's about those small decisions that reveal who they really are.
Yeah.
Like a paladin choosing mercy over vengeance.
Right.
Or a rogue discreetly helping someone in need,
Yeah.
even if it means sacrificing a reward.
Those little moments of role play,
Yeah,
they can be just as impactful as any epic battle.
absolutely.
It's those details that make a character feel real,
Yeah,
make them come alive in the minds of everyone at the table.
they really do.
And something the article really points out is that not all players are created equal.
Oh, for sure.
Some players live for the thrill of combat.
You know it.
They're meticulously planning their attacks, relishing every critical hit.
Love it.
Others thrive on the narrative elements.
Yeah.
Crafting intricate backstories. They're losing themselves in the drama of the story.
Yeah.
And then you have those who love exploring every nook and cranny of the world.
Yes.
Uncovering secrets, leaving their mark on the setting.
Explore.
Yeah, it's like there are these different player archetypes,
Mhm.
each with their own unique way of engaging with the game.
Yeah, and the article breaks it down.
It does. It breaks down 5 of them.
It does.
The tactician, the storyteller, the explorer, the power gamer, and the actor.
Yeah.
Understanding these different play styles,
Right.
even if they overlap within your group, it's crucial for creating sessions that cater to everyone's preferences.
Yeah, for sure.
And one of the key takeaways from the article is this idea of the 60-40 framework.
Oh, tell me more about that.
So the 60-40 framework is this simple but effective way to ensure that everyone feels heard
Okay.
and has a chance to shine during the game.
I like it.
Essentially, you dedicate roughly 60% of the session time to the play style that the majority of your group enjoys,
Okay.
whether that's combat, roleplay, or exploration.
Right.
And then you devote that remaining 40% to other elements that cater to the secondary preferences within the group.
Okay, got it.
So if you've got a group that's really into combat, you might spend most of the session on tactical encounters, but you'd also make sure to sprinkle in some opportunities for roleplay and exploration.
Exactly. Keep it balanced.
Exactly. And the beauty of this framework is that it's a starting point. It's not a rigid rule.
Right.
As a DM, you are constantly observing your players, gauging their energy levels, and adapting the flow of the session based on what's working.
You got to read the room.
You do. Speaking of observation, The article had some great advice about gathering player feedback.
Oh, yeah. Super important.
And it's not just about those direct methods like surveys or one-on-one chats, but also paying attention to those subtle cues.
Yeah, like their body language.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You can learn so much by simply observing how your players react during a session.
For sure.
Are they leaning forward, eyes wide during certain scenes? Are they fidgeting or checking their phones during others?
Yeah, those nonverbal cues, they can tell you a lot
So much.
about what's working and what's not.
It's almost like being a detective, right? You're gathering clues, piecing together the puzzle of what makes your group tick.
Love that analogy.
And once you have a good understanding of their preferences, you can start incorporating some of the more advanced session design techniques that the article discusses.
Ooh, okay, I'm ready. Hit me with those advanced techniques.
All right, well, for starters, the article suggests thinking about your sessions in terms of a classic 3-act structure.
Okay, classic storytelling structure.
Exactly. So setup, escalation, and resolution.
Like a good story.
Just like a good story, each session has a beginning, a middle, and an end.
I can see how that would create a natural arc of tension and release, right? Keep the players engaged.
Yeah, it's like building towards a climax, just like in a movie or a novel.
Makes sense.
And then there's this concept of the flow state,
Okay, the flow state.
which is all about finding that sweet spot between challenge and capability.
Interesting. So how do you achieve that during a session?
So it's about understanding how to progressively scale the challenge, offering meaningful choices, and providing clear feedback loops. You want your players to feel challenged but not overwhelmed.
Right.
You want them to feel like their decisions matter and understand the consequences of their actions.
So it's like walking a tightrope. You want to keep them on the edge of their seats but not let them fall off.
Exactly. And speaking of challenges, the article really emphasizes the importance of designing combat encounters that are more than just mindless slugfests.
Oh, for sure.
You want to create situations where both tactical skills, A&D role-playing abilities come into play.
I like it.
So it's not just about throwing monsters at your players.
Right.
It's about creating dynamic encounters that integrate combat and narrative in a meaningful way.
So give me an example.
So imagine a combat encounter where the environment itself plays a crucial role.
Okay.
Maybe you've got a crumbling bridge that's about to collapse, forcing the players to think strategically about their positioning. Or maybe there are interactive elements that they can use to their advantage, like traps they can trigger or obstacles they can use as cover.
Oh, I love that. Tuning the battlefield into a puzzle
Yeah.
they have to solve,
Exactly.
using both their brains and their brawn.
And don't forget the power of mid-combat dialogue.
Oh, yeah.
Imagine a tense standoff where a villain reveals a shocking secret that completely changes the stakes of the fight.
Ooh, good one.
Or maybe an NPC offers a desperate plea for help, forcing the players to make a difficult choice in the heat of battle.
It's those unexpected twists and turns, right?
Yes.
That keep things exciting.
Keeps the players on their toes.
Yeah, and make combat feel like a part of the story.
Yeah.
Not just this separate thing.
Exactly. And just as combat can benefit from narrative elements,
Yeah.
social encounters can be enhanced by incorporating some light mechanics.
Oh, interesting.
You can use skill challenge frameworks to add a sense of structure and consequence to those interactions.
Right.
Or maybe introduce resource management elements, like having players track their influence or favors within a political setting.
Oh, that's so smart. So that way you keep things engaging for the players who love the tactical side of the game.
Yes.
Even when there's no combat happening.
Exactly. It adds a whole new layer of depth and strategy to those social interactions.
Yeah, and it creates those delicious moments of tension.
Yes.
Where the outcome isn't always clear.
The article then moves on to this concept of storytelling through action.
Okay.
It argues that combat itself can be a vehicle for character development.
Interesting.
So it's about those subtle nuances of personality that emerge during a fight.
Okay.
Does your fighter charge in recklessly, or do they hang back analyzing the situation before striking? Does your cleric prioritize healing their allies, or do they wade into the fray wielding their mace with righteous fury?
Right, so their fighting style becomes an extension of their character.
Exactly. It tells you something about their background, their training, their personality.
And even the setting can contribute to this, right?
Oh, absolutely.
Imagine an ancient battlefield.
Yeah.
Littered with broken statues and crumbling ruins.
Oh.
Not only can those remnants of past conflict serve as cover during a fight,
Yeah.
but they also hint at a deeper history,
Right.
a story waiting to be uncovered.
It's like every battlefield becomes the storytelling canvas,
Yeah.
a place where the mechanics of combat and the narrative of the world intertwine.
It's all connected.
It is, and the beauty of it is that it doesn't have to be overly complex. Sometimes the simplest details can have the most impact.
I agree.
It's not about overwhelming the players with information, but about sprinkling in those evocative details that spark their imagination and make the world feel real.
Yeah, for sure.
And speaking of making the world feel real, the article emphasizes that combat shouldn't just pause the story.
Right.
It should accelerate it.
Keep things moving.
Yes. You can use combat encounters to reveal enemy motivations,
Yeah.
introduce new characters.
Oh, I like that.
Or even change the battlefield itself to reflect the unfolding plot.
So dynamic, yeah.
I love the idea of incorporating those dynamic scene transitions.
Yeah.
Imagine moving seamlessly from a tense negotiation to a sudden ambush.
Ooh, intense.
Or having the battlefield itself transform during a fight,
Yeah.
maybe revealing a hidden passage or collapsing underfoot.
It's about keeping things unpredictable
Yes,
and keeping the players engaged. They never know what's coming next.
that's the key right there.
Yeah.
Keeping them guessing, keeping them invested, keeping them on the edge of their seats.
Exactly. And to help you do just that, the article introduces this really cool concept called the rhythm of mixed encounters.
Rhythm of mixed encounters, I like it.
Yeah, it's a way to visualize how tension builds and releases throughout a session
Okay.
as you move between different phases of gameplay, combat, roleplay, exploration, you name it.
Like a musical score
It is.
with different movements and tempos.
Yeah.
And the skilled DM knows how to orchestrate those different phases to create a satisfying and engaging experience for the players.
Absolutely.
So you're not just randomly jumping between combat and roleplay, you're thinking about the overall flow of the session.
The ebb and flow.
Yes, the ebb and flow of tension and excitement.
Love it. And luckily, we have so many tools as DMs these days.
We do.
Help us create that perfect rhythm. We've got virtual tabletops
Yeah.
for dynamic lighting and immersive battle maps,
Right.
music apps to set the mood, and even dice calculators
Yeah.
to speed up combat resolution.
And let's not forget about the power of physical props.
Absolutely. I love using those.
I love using terrain pieces and miniatures to bring key battles to life.
Yeah.
And handing out custom-made maps or in-world documents can really immerse the players in the setting.
Yeah, it's amazing how those little touches can contribute so much to the experience.
It's all about layering those details.
Yeah.
Creating a sensory experience that engages all the players' senses.
Totally. And speaking of engagement, we've only just scratched the surface of what this article has to offer.
Yeah, there's so much more.
In the next part of our deep dive, we'll explore even more advanced techniques for transitioning seamlessly between combat and roleplay,
Okay.
ensuring that your D&D sessions are immersive, engaging, and unforgettable for everyone at the table.
All right, I can't wait.
Stay tuned.
Stay tuned.
Okay, so we're back and ready to unlock one of the DM's most powerful tools,
Ooh, I'm intrigued.
transitions.
Okay.
You see, smoothly moving between combat roleplay exploration, that's where the real magic happens.
It makes sense.
Our source material, How to Balance Combat and Roleplay in D&D, lays out a brilliant 3-phase model for mastering transitions.
Okay.
Pre-transition, the transition itself, and post-transition.
It sounds a lot more complicated than just saying, all right, the fight's over, let's talk.
Exactly. Each phase has its own crucial elements.
Right.
Let's start with pre-transition.
Yeah.
This is all about setting the stage building anticipation. Think of it like dropping subtle hints that something's about to change.
Okay.
Maybe the temperature drops unexpectedly, or NPCs start acting strangely, whispering among themselves.
You're creating that sense of unease, right? Like that calm before the storm.
Precisely. And just as important, you need to establish clear stakes.
Okay.
Why should the players care about what's about to happen?
Right.
What's at risk?
Yeah.
And then present them with options showing that there might be multiple paths forward.
So give them that sense of agency,
Exactly.
that their choices matter.
Now, for the transition moment itself, you need a clear trigger,
Okay.
something that definitively shifts the focus and energy.
Gotcha.
This could be as simple as rolling initiative, signaling the start of combat,
Right.
or it could be a pivotal decision point, like the party choosing to negotiate with a dangerous foe instead of attacking,
Okay.
or you could go for a more dramatic environmental change.
Oh, I like that. Give me an example.
Yeah, picture this. The party is exploring an ancient ruin. The air is thick with the scent of dust and decay.
Ooh, spooky.
They stumble upon a hidden chamber, and as they step inside, boom. The floor collapses, plunging them into darkness.
Wow.
Now they're not just exploring, they're fighting for survival.
Nice.
And finally, we have the post-transition phase.
Okay.
This is about solidifying the new state, making sure everyone's on the same page.
Right.
You need to set clear expectations. What are the rules of this new situation? What are the goals?
Okay.
And just as importantly, you need to maintain momentum, keep the energy high, keep the players engaged and invested.
So you're not just transitioning between combat and roleplay, you're actually transitioning between different phases of the story itself.
That's exactly it.
Each transition is like a mini cliffhanger propelling the narrative forward.
Now let's talk about natural transition triggers.
Okay.
These are events or circumstances that can organically shift the game from one style of play to another.
Okay, like.
The article highlights 3 main types: environmental character-based and plot-based.
Give me some examples.
Let's start with environmental triggers. Imagine a sudden downpour that forces the party to seek shelter.
Okay, classic.
This could lead to a role-play encounter with the locals.
Mhm.
Maybe they find themselves caught up in a village feud, or they stumble upon a hidden secret.
I like it. What about a change in the time of day?
Excellent point. As night falls, the mood changes, shadows lengthen, and maybe a stealth mission becomes the most viable option.
I love it.
Then we have character-based triggers. Maybe an NPC reacts unexpectedly to something the party does, opening up a whole new avenue for roleplay.
Ooh, interesting.
Or a player has a sudden revelation about their character, a change of heart, or a shift in their goals that alters the course of the story.
I love those moments when a player's personal journey intersects with the main plot line.
Absolutely.
It makes everything feel so much more interconnected.
And finally, we have plot-based triggers. Think about those classic story beats: a betrayal, a discovery of a crucial piece of information, a sudden time constraint.
That's right, classic.
All of these can naturally shift the focus and create opportunities for either combat or roleplay.
So it's like the plot itself is this living, breathing thing, constantly throwing new challenges and opportunities at the players.
Now remember, different play styles demand different energy levels, both from the players and the DM.
Okay.
A high-intensity combat encounter might require short bursts of energy, everyone laser-focused on the action, while a complex social interaction might demand a more sustained level of engagement.
It's like being a conductor.
It is.
You're reading the energy of the room, adjusting the tempo and the dynamics to keep everything flowing smoothly.
Exactly. You're orchestrating the different elements of the session, creating a symphony of tension and release, action and intrigue. And that's where mastering the art of transitions becomes so crucial.
So we've covered the ideal scenario, smooth transitions, everyone's engaged, the story is flowing, but let's be real, sometimes things don't go according to plan.
Yeah, that happens.
What are some common balance issues that even experienced DMs might run into?
One classic problem is the combat slog.
The combat slog.
This is when encounters drag on too long. Players start getting bored. Maybe they're checking their phones or zoning out.
Yeah, you've all been there.
It's a clear sign that the combat has lost its momentum.
So how do you avoid falling into that trap?
The key is to design dynamic encounters with multiple objectives, not just kill all the monsters. Think about incorporating environmental hazards that the players need to navigate, or interactive elements they can use to their advantage.
Okay.
Maybe there's a collapsing ceiling they need to avoid, or a magical artifact they can try to seize.
So make it more than just a series of dice rolls.
Exactly.
Turn it into like a puzzle.
Exactly.
Like a challenge.
And on the flip side, you have the role-play monopoly.
Okay, the role-play monopoly.
This is when a single player dominates the conversation, leaving the others feeling sidelined.
Oh, yeah, I've seen that happen, where one player is in their element weaving intricate tales, captivating the room, and the other players are just sort of there.
Exactly. To counter this, you need to actively encourage spotlight rotation.
Okay, how do you do that?
This could be as simple as directing a question to a specific player.
Right.
Or creating situations where different characters have unique roles to play.
And maybe weave in character backstories and relationships.
Yes.
So that everyone feels like their character is an integral part of what's happening.
Then, of course, you have pacing issues where the session feels like it's dragging or rushing, losing that sense of momentum.
Okay, yeah.
This is where those energy management tools we talked about earlier come into play.
Right.
Knowing when to speed things up, when to slow down, how to create those natural ebbs and flows of tension and release.
Like conducting an orchestra.
Exactly, keeping everyone in sync.
So speaking of keeping everyone in sync, what about those moments when you can just tell that one or more players are simply not engaged?
Yeah, player disconnect. That could be tough.
You can see it in their eyes. They're just not feeling it.
Sometimes it's just a matter of incorporating hooks that directly involve their characters. Maybe there's a plot twist that ties into their backstory, or an NPC who has a personal connection to them.
So make them feel like their character matters.
Exactly.
Their choices have a real impact.
And sometimes it's as simple as checking in with them, asking them directly, hey, how are you feeling about the session so far? Is there anything you'd like to see more of?
It's a collaborative experience.
It is.
We're all there to have fun.
Absolutely.
And then there's the classic analysis paralysis.
Oh, yeah.
Where players get so bogged down in planning and strategizing that the game just grinds to a halt.
I've seen that one too.
They're trying to map out every possible outcome, consider every contingency, and it just takes forever to make a decision.
That's when you need to introduce time pressure mechanics.
Oh, okay.
Maybe there's a ticking clock, like a ritual that's about to be completed, or reinforcements are on the way.
So force them to act, even if they don't have all the information.
Inject that sense of urgency.
Very good.
Sometimes you realize that you need to rebalance your campaign midstream. Maybe you've been leaning too heavily on combat and the roleplay has taken a back seat, or vice versa.
Yeah, you get so caught up in the excitement of a particular storyline that you lose sight of the bigger picture.
The key is to communicate with your players.
Yeah.
Explain what you're doing and why, and then gradually introduce new elements to shift the balance.
So it's all about collaboration.
It is.
Making sure everyone's on the same page and a good time.
And the article doesn't shy away from addressing some special situations like running a single-player campaign or managing a large group.
Okay.
Each of those presents its own unique challenges, but the underlying principles of balance remain the same.
So it's not just about applying a formula, it's about understanding the dynamics of your specific group.
Yes.
And finding the approach that works best for you.
And now as we head into the final part of our deep dives, we'll be taking this understanding to a whole new level.
Ooh, exciting.
Get ready to explore how combat and roleplay intertwine to create truly immersive worlds at the campaign level.
Okay, I can't wait.
Stay with us.
Welcome back, adventurers. We've explored balancing combat and roleplay in individual sessions.
Right, the nuts and bolts.
But now we're going epic.
Campaign level.
We're talking campaign level integration.
This is where it all comes together.
It does.
All those individual encounters, those thrilling battles, those tense negotiations.
Yeah.
They weave together to form this amazing tapestry of adventure.
Our guide, How to Balance Combat and Roleplay in D&D, really emphasizes that at the campaign level, it's like composing a grand symphony.
I love that analogy.
You've got your moments of heart-pounding action.
Like a climactic battle.
Yeah, like a climactic battle against a legendary dragon.
Yes.
And then you have these quieter interludes.
Right, those character moments.
Yeah, moments of character development and world building, like a tense political negotiation or a heartfelt conversation between allies.
It's all part of the story.
And just like a skilled conductor brings all those different instruments together
to create a harmonious whole.
A skilled DM orchestrates those different elements, creating a rhythm and flow that keeps the players engaged for the entire campaign.
The long haul.
The article uses this awesome framework called campaign rhythm planning.
Okay. Campaign rhythm planning.
It's basically like designing a season of your favorite TV show.
I like it.
You've got your action-packed episodes, your character-focused episodes, your episodes that are all about exploration and discovery, and then maybe you sprinkle in a few special event episodes throughout the season.
Keep it fresh.
To keep things fresh and exciting.
I like it.
So you're not just randomly throwing encounters at your players.
Yeah.
You're thinking strategically about how those encounters fit into the larger story you're trying to tell.
Right. The big picture.
The themes you want to explore, the emotional beats you want to hit.
It's all connected.
And this is where combat story integration becomes so crucial.
Yes.
Every battle, every fight should serve a narrative purpose.
It's not just about killing monsters.
It's not just about killing monsters and gaining loot. It's about advancing the plot, revealing character depths, and creating consequences that will ripple through future sessions, maybe even the entire campaign.
It's those ripples that really make the world feel alive.
The article gave this really cool example. Imagine a seemingly simple bar fight that erupts into something much bigger.
Okay, I've seen that happen.
As the fight unfolds, the players realize they've stumbled into this hidden rivalry between two powerful factions, or maybe they cross paths with a recurring villain who will plague them for sessions to come.
I love it.
Suddenly, that bar fight isn't just a random encounter, it's a pivotal moment in the unfolding story, a catalyst that sets off a chain reaction of
Yeah,
events.
those unintended consequences, those things that the
Yeah.
players didn't plan
Yeah.
for. That's what makes it feel real.
And those consequences, those ripple effects, are what really make a world feel alive and responsive to the player's actions?
Absolutely. Imagine a battle that ends with the destruction of a key bridge,
Okay.
disrupting trade routes, isolating communities, and potentially influencing the outcome of a war.
Wow. So much impact.
It's like the world remembers what happened there, and those memories have consequences.
It's all about weaving together those threads of narrative connecting the past, present, and future of your campaign world.
Right, and the article also emphasizes the importance of managing campaign time.
Time management.
It's not just about tracking days and weeks.
Yeah.
It's about using the passage of time to create those natural transitions between action and role play.
So you're thinking about seasons, changing festivals and holidays, political cycles, maybe even the day-to-day schedules of NPCs?
Exactly. The world has its own rhythm, its own ebb and flow, and the players are caught up in that.
Maybe there's a festival season where tensions are high and violence is more likely, followed by a period of relative peace and quiet, where the focus shifts to political intrigue or personal relationships.
Right. Or maybe there's a deadline. The party needs to meet a ritual that's about to be performed at the caravan that's leaving town soon.
It creates that sense of urgency.
It does.
It makes the players feel like their choices matter.
Absolutely. And let's not forget how past battles can shape future storytelling.
Right? Those scars, those memories, they linger.
Maybe a character still bears the scars of a previous fight. Those scars could influence how NPCs react to them.
Yeah, they could be treated with fear or respect.
Right. Or maybe they're shunned because of the reputation they've gained in battle.
Or imagine a battlefield that becomes a haunted site, a place of pilgrimage, or even a strategic stronghold in a future conflict.
Those past battles become part of the world's history, shaping the present and influencing the future.
It's incredible. And for those DMs who are ready to take their game to the next level, How to Balance Combat and Roleplay in D&D introduces some truly mind-blowing techniques.
Oh yeah, it gets really advanced.
It talks about mastering the flow state at the campaign level.
Right.
Orchestrating entire story arcs like a conductor leading an orchestra, seamlessly weaving together tension curves, energy management, spotlight rotation, and emotional resonance.
It's like D&D alchemy.
It is taking all these different elements and combining them in just the right way to create something truly magical.
It also dives deep into advanced character integration, where character development isn't just about gaining levels and abilities, but about how those characters change and grow in response to the challenges they face and the choices they make.
It's not just about what happens to the characters, but about how those experiences change who they are.
Precisely. And then there's this idea of creating truly living worlds that respond dynamically to the player's actions.
So give me an example.
Imagine a world where the economy is affected by battles, where social norms shift in response to violence, where political landscapes are reshaped by alliances and betrayals.
It's the kind of world where every choice feels like it truly matters, where the players are constantly shaping and reshaping the narrative through their actions.
Exactly. And if you're feeling really ambitious, the article even touches on advanced timeline control,
Timeline control?
where the DM can manipulate time and space to enhance storytelling. Imagine flashback combat scenes, visions of the future, even parallel timelines.
It's like bending the rules of reality to create those truly unique and unforgettable experiences.
But remember, all of these advanced techniques, these high-level concepts, they're all in service of the story.
It's about creating those moments of magic, those unforgettable experiences where combat and roleplay become indistinguishable, where the players are so immersed in the world that they forget they're even playing a game.
It's those moments when the dice become almost irrelevant, and it's just pure storytelling, pure emotion, pure shared experience.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a challenge.
Okay, I like a challenge.
Think back to a D&D moment that truly resonated with you, a moment where combat and roleplay blended perfectly, a moment that you'll never forget.
What made that moment so special?
And how can you apply the insights we've discussed today to create more of those moments in your own games, whether you're a DM or a player? Because at the end of the day, that's what it's all about, creating those shared experiences, those stories that we'll tell and retell for years to come.
Keep exploring, keep experimenting, keep pushing the boundaries of what's possible.
And most importantly, keep having fun.